Who is this band that Iggy Pop himself has talked about? Who is this band signed to the same British record label like the 1975 Dirty Hit? Who is this band that makes you want to wear a skirt and smoke a cig? That band would be Pretty Sick. Pretty Sick is a band formed by Sabrina Fuentes, and there has been a couple different lineups, but as of right now, the photo that I'm going to share right now is the current band lineup, a three-piece. The music is very alternative rock 1995-esque. I'm talking about bands like Hole, The Breeders, even a little bit of Sonic Youth in there, those being some of the band's influences. The vocals do remind me of Courtney Love, but there's some moments where I feel like that doesn't even sound like Courtney Love. It's Pretty Sick. And to a person who might have lived through the whole entirety of the 90s, you might write off this band, but I feel like there's a lot to appreciate within this band. A lot of qualities, a lot of greatness. Let's talk about it. I'm going to start off with the first time I heard about this band, what I listened to and all that, so you get a good point of view where I'm going with this. The first project I heard of Pretty Sick was their 2018 single, Dumb. And to this day, Dumb being their most streamed song. The songwriting feels real and relatable, and you could just listen to it and be like, okay, I could see myself in that situation, or maybe I've been in that situation before. The production sounded so spacious with the emotional gravity. It left a lasting impression on me, and probably on 12 million people as well. There wouldn't be an EP release for another 2 years after that single was released, and the EP that they did release was a 2020 EP, Deep Divine. That's a lot of EPs in my sentence. A ton of songs with chaotic distortion and mellow talking singing, which I really am into. A recipe I feel like Pretty Sick nailed on the head and mastered already on their first project. My favorite song being Allen Street because the way it just kicks in and the guitar riff is beautiful. The vocals are awesome as well. They kind of have that I don't really care what's going on right now type of vibe to it. And for a first EP, that's pretty good first batch of material. They would pretty much lay the groundwork on where they wanted to be, how they wanted to sound, and what to look forward to in the future. Pretty Sick would then release a couple singles in 2021 and then another EP, this one being called Come Down. And to be truthful with you, this is my favorite batch of songs from Pretty Sick, my favorite stuff top to bottom without a question. There's a lot of chaos going on in this, and I feel like honestly it wasn't directionless, it was just great. The band sounded confident, and that's where you want a band to be. There's a couple songs that have this shaky twang in the vocals that I just really messed with because it was weird a little bit, but the fact that it just sounded very fun and energetic and chaotic. I feel like I've said chaos and chaotic a lot of times, but that's pretty much what it sounded like. It sounded like a bunch of fun. The vocals are kind of like a creepy witch that's been hiding under a bridge for hundreds and hundreds of years. That's literally the best I can describe it. There's stories within each song, and I feel like that's what I look for in a band. I can hear images, and they just create things with like painted pictures and all that stuff. But yeah, tons of melodies on here. Tons of great moments, a lot of different flows going on, which I really like. Some songs have a bunch of layered fuzz guitar all up on each other, and some songs don't even have like a crazy guitar focused noise in the background. It's mainly just the vibe of the whole thing, and I'm just like, wow. Now at this point you may be asking, damn, when is Pretty Sick gonna drop an album? They've been working for a couple years, they've had some singles, some EPs, what is the holdup? But no fear, Pretty Sick released an album in 2022, and it's called Makes Me Sick, Makes Me Smile. And I gotta keep it truthful, 100% honest with anybody watching this video. When this album came out, I was excited, but once I listened, I was like, what in the world is this? What happened with the vision? I couldn't comprehend what was happening. I felt like the album sounded sluggish all the way through. I almost couldn't even finish the whole album. But as time goes on, people change, people like different sounds, and I came back to this album a couple months ago, and I was like, what? The songs that felt more simple had more purpose whenever I heard them. Like I said, there's a lot of talking, singing sometimes, and I'm not gonna lie, back then I was kind of like whatever on it, but then now I feel like I get it. Because you don't need to be screaming all the time in front of everybody or in people's ears to get your point across. If this band played an acoustic set with all these new songs on the 2022 album, I'd be like, wow, it would sound way more powerful. The songs that I listened to back then that I felt like were throwaway songs, I listened to them again and I was like, wow, it actually lines up perfectly. And I was like, what changed? I don't understand why my brain didn't get it at first. The last song was a perfect closing track. It had that slow, methodical, slow slow vocal thing, and then boom, distortion, everything explodes, the world explodes, and it was just perfect. But I won't say the album is perfect because I don't think so, but it's their first debut album. There's a lot of great stuff on here. It does feel consistent, but I don't think it's perfect, and that's fine. It was a turnaround I did not expect at all, and I was so critical about it, but at the time I wasn't making TikToks. I kind of took a break at that time. So whenever I was talking to people around me, I was really negative about it, and that's really embarrassing. The fast-paced elements that were on this album reeked of their old stuff and their old EPs, like Come Down and all that. Reeked in a good way. I think the band probably wanted to have a different, calm approach, let the music come to them naturally. And I feel like it did work because these songs felt very personal. It sounded like someone's diary, to be honest. And, I liked it. Not that you should be like reading anybody's diaries or whatever. Understanding Pretty Sick, I don't think is the hardest accomplishment to do. There's a ton of positives within the band, and I feel like a bunch of people would enjoy them. The band has an identity, which is very important. The band has an image, which I think anybody would want to be like. And I feel like the band overall has so much good in them. It's relatable. You want things to be relatable. You want to listen to a song and be like, damn, yeah, true. And yeah, I feel like they're a band you could show anybody, and there's going to be 80% of the crowd is probably going to be like, wow, I'm going to listen to them now. And the other 20%, we're going to be like, bro, I've seen so many people in the 90s, mid-90s be alternative. Are you showing me this crap? They're the total package, man. And I guess this is random. Not really random. It's on topic. I'm going to rank them real quick. Ranking Pretty Sick's projects, so the 2 EPs and the 1 album. At number 1, I'll go with the EP, Come Down. Obviously, I was really high on it. Top to bottom, consistency is top-notch. Good stuff. Variety. Plethora of stuff for the listener. I said it's probably my favorite. I'm stamping it now. It is my favorite project by the band. At number 2, I'll go Makes Me Sick, Makes Me Smile, which is crazy. If you told me that when it first dropped, things changed. My ears evolved, clearly. I appreciate the overall approach of the whole album. So yeah, I have that at number 2. Awesome. Which makes number 3, the EP Deep Divine, at number 3. And just because it's last doesn't mean it's trash or anything like that, obviously. I just think they're really consistent with all their stuff, but this is like their first EP, and it wasn't anything crazy. And Allen Street is probably my second favorite song by them. That concludes everything. If you're into alternative music, then Pretty Sick will be right up your alley. Spread the music if you want. No, not if you want. Spread the music. Share the music. Pretty Sick is pretty sick.